What is up, Janksters? It's your boy Graham, also known as HamHawks42 on the internet, and today we have a really fun historic deck featuring Aeve the Progenitor Ooze and Unesh the Criosphinx Sovereign. If you're not familiar with those cards, don't worry, we are going to get into it. I will explain how the heck this weird monstrosity works, and yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. This is a crazy, weird storm deck in historic, in Simic colors. So I'm looking forward to showing it to you, but first I want to give a huge thank you to the patrons of the channel. So thank you to everybody who submits over on patreon.com/hamhawks42, with a special shout out to the mythic patrons Angry Jellyfish, Else89, and Silent Labber. Thank you so much for your contributions. I couldn't be doing this without you. Thank you, thank you. And if you, dear viewer, would like to join our Hall of Champions here, you can for as little as $1 a month over on Patreon. There's a link in the description below. Thank you for considering it. And with that, let's get into the deck itself. All right, so like I mentioned, this deck is built around Aeve, Progenitor Ooze, as well as Unesh the Criosphinx Sovereign. Now, these cards don't look like they synergize particularly well, but trust me, they do. So if you're not familiar with Aeve, Progenitor Ooze, this is a 2/2 legendary ooze with Storm for 2 green, green, green. If you're not familiar with Storm, Storm is a keyword mechanic that is so incredibly weird and busted that Mark Rosewater, the head of development at Wizards of the Coast, actually created what he calls the Storm Scale. This is a scale of mechanics that are ranked on how likely they are to ever return, with Storm being so busted and so weird and so impossible to make correctly. It is not only a 10 on the Storm Scale, it is the namesake for the whole freaking system. But that said, Modern Horizons 2, they decided to print this card with Storm. Crazy stuff. Storm is a mechanic where when you cast a spell with Storm, you copy it for every other spell that was played prior to it that turn. This is spells you've cast. This is also spells your opponents have cast. So Storm decks historically that leverage Storm effects are all about casting a lot of cheap spells, and this is where spells that create mana are especially useful. This is why the ritual style effects, where you like spend 1 mana to create 3, are so good, because you cast a spell, you also then get more mana that you can use to cast more spells. Like, certain cards that look pretty innocuous throughout Magic's history are like big money items because they synergize with Storm in that way. Now, we don't have access to any of those in Historic. Like, the real big bombs that make like Legacy or Modern Storm work are not available to us. And they're definitely not in Simic. Usually this is something that you see in Izzet. So we had to get a little weird and get a little creative with it. But in any event, there's more. Aeve also says that it isn't legendary if it's a token. So when it creates its tokens, they are not legendary, which is good because it storms and creates multiples of itself. Obviously, if they were all legendary, that'd be a real bummer. And then Aeve enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each other ooze you control. So if this storms, say, 3 times for the simplicity math, one copy comes down, it's a 2/2. Your second copy comes down, it sees the other copy, it comes in with a +1/+1 counter, so it's down a 3/3. The next one sees both other oozes, it comes down as a 4/4. And that's if you don't have any other oozes in play to kind of get them started at a higher level. So it's pretty cool. You end up with a situation where this kind of grows out of proportion if you can storm a fair number of times. So you may be wondering, okay, how the heck are we going to storm then? Well, that's where Unesh Criosphinx Sovereign comes in. This is a 4/4 Sphinx for 4 blue with flying that says Sphinx spells you cast cost 2 less to cast, and whenever Unesh Criosphinx Sovereign or another Sphinx enters the battlefield under your control, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. An opponent separates those cards into 2 piles. Put 1 pile into your hand and the other into your graveyard. So this is doing 2 things that we need for a Storm style deck. 1, spell cost reduction. That is a big deal. If we are able to cast spells for 1 or even 0 with this, we are going to be able to get that storm count up and, you know, ultimately grow our ooze army. On top of that, this is also going to be drawing us cards when other creatures enter the battlefield. Now I know what you're thinking. Wait, that only works for Sphinxes. So what's the deal with that? Well, that's why we have Maskwood Nexus. Maskwood Nexus is a card that turns all of our creatures into every creature type. All of our stuff has Changeling, not only the cards on the battlefield, but also the cards in our hand and in our library. Granted, the battlefield is really all we care about, but you know, that's okay. And this actually benefits us 2 different ways. On the one hand, it turns all of our creatures into Sphinxes, so they cost 2 less to cast, and we get that Factor Fiction style effect when they hit the battlefield. Okay, that's pretty rad, especially because we have colorless creatures that cost less than 2 in here. In Ornithopter of Paradise and Crashing Drawbridge and Universal Automaton. We have Palladium Myr in here too that can cost as little as 1 and it taps for 2 mana. So that's pretty awesome. So all of these counting as Sphinxes, all of a sudden are drawing us cards just by entering the battlefield. And on top of that, as these little dorks are entering the battlefield, they also count as Oozes for Aeve. So if we have 5 or 6 of these little utility creatures online, as well as Unesh, then when Aeve drops, even the base one is going to be like a 7/7, 8/8, and then they're going to grow up from that. So that's pretty sweet. So Maskwood Nexus helps us out both ways, which is pretty darn sweet. One thing to keep in mind that is mildly annoying with this deck, there's a ton of clicking involved. Because when Aeve storms off and you get a whole bunch of Aeve tokens, each one of them entering the battlefield counts as a Sphinx. And so each time one of them enters the battlefield, you're going to get the Fact or Fiction. So you may be wondering also, how the heck do you not just mill out? Because we're going to be drawing so many freaking cards, because the cards we don't select from Unesh go to the graveyard. So we're effectively digging 4 cards deep every single time a creature enters. Well, and that's where Gaea's Blessing comes in. We have 2 of these in the deck. These are critical as we're getting those Fact or Fiction triggers, if Gaea's Blessing turns up as one of the options, you, as the player of this deck, have the ability to choose the pile that does not include Gaea's Blessing, therefore milling Gaea's Blessing from the library into the graveyard, then shuffling the entire graveyard back into the library. So as a result, if this engine gets churning, we can be producing a huge board state very, very quickly and recycling all of our cards throughout the course of the game. I've actually had it with this deck where my opponent has wiped my board like 3 turns in a row, and because I was just reshuffling my cards over and over and over again, I was able to actually rebuild a massive board state 3 turns in a row and ultimately win that game. It's possible. This deck is very resilient. It's pretty nasty. The other key pieces, Crashing Drawbridge. If Crashing Drawbridge has been on the field for a turn, you can tap it to give all of your Unesh's haste, or not Unesh's, sorry, your Ave's haste and swing in for the win. That's pretty rad, so we do like that. We also have Llanowar Elves. This is going to help us ramp up into our Unesh, which is really going to be the key. We need to get to Unesh as quickly as possible. That's also why we have Palladium Myr and Ornithopter of Paradise in here. Those are all ways that we can get ramped up to that Unesh, because I mean, hitting a 6-drop in Historic is kind of a tall order. It is, like, so we do need to take that into account and really go for it. We also have Fierce Empath in here. These are effectively redundant copies of Unesh, because this allows us to fetch Unesh up from our hand. Also, if we have Unesh on the battlefield, this is a 1/1 for 1, you know, assuming we have Unesh and the Maskwood Nexus. All of a sudden, this only costs 1 and we get the Fact or Fiction trigger. So it can keep the Storm combo moving once we get it, and it can help us make sure that we get Unesh into our hand. So, useful little tool in this deck to help us kind of get the consistency that we're looking for. And the last non-land card I want to touch on is the Sphinx of Foresight. 4/4 for 4, 2 blue. You may reveal this card from your opening hand. If you do, scry 3 at the beginning of your first upkeep, and it has flying, and if it's in play at the beginning of your upkeep, scry 1. So this card is a tool that does a couple things for us. One, it helps us smooth out our opening hand by getting our opening draw kind of where we want it if it's in the starting 7, which is really useful. And if we can get multiple in the starting 7, then things get really great. If we can scry 6 in our opening hand, like right away at the start of a game, we're going to be set up for success. It's going to be pretty awesome in that regard, because we can tee up whatever combo pieces we need in order to get going. Also, it's a 4/4 for 4. This deck does not have much, well, you may note it doesn't have any removal. It doesn't have any removal or any interaction at all, actually. This is all in on executing our combo. So the Sphinx of Foresight, being a 4/4 flying body, means that it can at least soak up some damage that our opponent might be putting on us. It gives them some pause in combat, hopefully. So that's part of its job. Yeah, we also have Universal Automaton in here. This is theoretically free with Unesh down, and we don't need Maskwood Nexus for this card to count as a Sphinx to get the Fact or Fiction trigger. So that's nice. Yeah. I gotta say, I think this deck is super fun. It is wildly inconsistent. Make no mistake, this is jank. This is the jankiest jank that ever janked. Did I mention it was jank? Oh baby, it's jank, but it's super fun. When it fires off, you feel awesome, and that's really what jank's all about, right? We're here to get weird, we're here to have fun, and we're here to take this to the next level. And let's see if this has what it takes out in historic. I'm looking forward to showing this off. Let's get into some gameplay. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Let's get into it. Okay, Gaea's Blessing is kind of neutral here, but having Unesh in the starting hand plus the Palladium Myr and an Ornithopter is actually pretty decent. We don't have... let's see, we don't have the Maskwood Nexus yet, so that's something that we're gonna have to figure out as we go, but that's okay. We can get there. All right, breeding pool's coming in tapped. Let's go. And we're going up against Goblins. This is not ideal for us. And they start with a Skirk Prospector. That's not great. We're going to be seeing Muxus before too long here. Also, interestingly enough, this is my first game with the Squee pet. Just delightful. What's not to love? Available now with the Dominator United pre-order. Not sponsored, just saying. All right. So Ornithopter of Paradise is definitely coming down. I'm going to hang on to Boseiju here. The boss, as I like to call it. Because we may have a target for that later. In this deck, like, we might see a Herald's Horn, maybe? Probably not, though, to be honest. So Boseiju's probably just going to be a land, but you never know. Ornithopter shutting down the attack, which is nice. I like that. Unless they have some kind of, like, buff spell, but the idea of using it just to take out an Ornithopter is kind of... seems silly to me, but hey, if they have it, I'm more than happy to let them use it here. So I will block. But they might have also been, bluffing it, so... Okay, they can Gem Palm Incinerate the Ornithopter. Yeah, okay. Ornithopter is a great ramp piece. It is. So I'm going to be bummed to lose it. However, well, one, we can shuffle it back in with Gaea's, but on top of that, we're going to be able to stick the Palladium Myr this next turn. And then now we will not be blocking with this, because if this dies, we do not have a turn 4 Unesh. If it survives, we do, and that's nice. I like turn 4 Uneshes. That's where we want to be. Because then Unesh hits, we get a Fact or Fiction trigger. We're in like Flint, baby. Cranko! Don't love that. That is very good. Very freaking good. Unesh is a 4/4 though, that's something. Alright. Send in the Sphinxes. We're doing the thing. Now our opponent has the opportunity to take 4 of our cards, shuffle them into a couple piles. They choose not to. Instead, just give us a pile of 4. That's fine. I'm not offended by that by any means. We have to discard a hand size. I'll let the island go, I suppose. So we have a spare Unesh just in case. Next turn, we're able to stick the Maskwood Nexus, hit the Crashing Drawbridge. Cool stuff ensues. Assuming they don't just hit Muxus this turn and end us, which is possible. Very possible, as a matter of fact. The salt. The salt, everybody. So much salt. Alright. How much damage is this? That is the question. Tis the question. I'm hoping I don't have to block with Unesh, but I probably will. They don't attack? I am shocked. I am confused. I am delighted. All right, Maskwood Nexus is coming down. I made a point of tapping the Palladium Myr. This way we have 3 green available if we are able to storm into Unesh. Or not Unesh, sorry, Aeve, the other one. But here we go. Fact or Fiction time. We're doing the thing. Let's go, baby. I see another Palladium Myr. I see a Universal Automaton. That is what I need. That is what I need. All right, Op, are you guys going to split them this time or no? They do. I'm gonna take that Automaton because that's just free card draw. It's free real estate. All right, here we go. Universal Automaton hitting the field once more. Let's go. Sphinx of Foresight is nice. I see the Gaea's. Okay, Gaea's Blessing is in the mix. Therefore, we have to choose pile 2. Mildly unfortunate. Not the end of the world. We're gonna mill everything. Get them all back in. Bloop. Then we're gonna throw an Empath. The only creature with mana value 6 or higher that the Fierce Empath can fetch for is Unesh, but that's okay. You know what? I'm actually gonna decline. I'm not even gonna bother grabbing a spare Unesh. We already have another backup in hand. Crashing Drawbridge and Ornithopter. Yeah, don't mind if I do. And we even draw an Unesh just for good measure. Let's go. All right. Ornithopter of Paradise back in. I have a feeling our mono red goblin player opponent is not enjoying this game so far. All right, it looks like we hit a little bit of a land pocket there. Let's see. And an Ornithopter. Yeah, we just take whatever pile the Ornithopter's in. Yep, 100% all day or day. Now, unfortunately, our mana situation is not ideal. If we hit Aeve, if we get our hands on an Aeve, we will not have the mana to cast it out this turn. We have just all the chump blockers in the world, and as you can see, a shiz ton of card draw. So that's nice. I like having shiz tons of card draw. That's nice. It's just nice. I don't know what else to say. And we have chump blocks for days. Chump blocks for days. Feels good. All right, we're gonna go ahead and throw that. Universal Automaton's coming down. So this is what the deck's trying to do. We're doing the thing. This is exactly it. As you can see, tons of clicks. It takes a minute. Aeve, there you are. We're gonna be teeing up Aeve for next turn. But for right now, we just need to get as many bodies on the board as we can possibly muster. And just keep the train rolling. Because we need to be able to survive. And now, had they attacked with everything last turn, Muxus would have gotten huge, frankly. Like, absolutely massive. And being absolutely massive, we would have been in some serious trouble there. However, and actually I believe that would have forced us to block with Unesh, which would have been devastating, as you can imagine. Also, we are playing best of one for the sake of this this video, just because these games are quicker. Because frankly, the game's in this Gaea's Blessing's in that mix, so I'm taking the Sphinx. Shuffle that graveyard, baby. Let's go. All right, we could throw the Sphinx of Foresight here. I'm gonna keep some mana up. I'm gonna stick to Palladium Myr instead. There's no Gaea's Blessing in that one, so I'm gonna select that pile, I suppose. Ornithopter of Paradise, sure. Our opponent is just clicking quickly, or they've disconnected. Either way, I'm okay with this. No Gaea's Blessing, but they're all lands. We actually don't need those, so I'll just let them go. Yep. Palladium Myr again, no Gaea's Blessing, so I'll just take them. I'm a jerk. I am actively the worst here. Choose that. Automaton's free. Let's go. Another Aeve. No Gaea's Blessing, so I will go ahead and pick those up. And now we're going to need to discard hand size, which is fine. No attacks, just chill. As you can see, we did the thing. There, I'm going to let a lot of these lands go. Because we just don't need them. Sphinx of Foresight can go as well. We don't need this many Llanowar Elves. I'm going to keep both Aeves just in case. Don't need all of our Maskwoods. I'll keep one spare Unesh just in case. But yeah, here we go. Discarding 18 cards. I could have dumped Gaea's Blessing, I suppose. Actually, I probably should have. Oh, well. All right, Oppo, show me what you got. All right, Wily Goblin coming down. They have an opportunity to just blast as many goblins down as humanly possible, then tap Cranko, create an obscene number of goblins, swing in with the squad. I mean, that does suck. And they have overrun potential, so I do need to block just a ton, which I don't love, to be fair. Oh, they're gonna hit a second Muxus. Thankfully, the legendary rule's a thing, but all the same. It's got haste, it's gonna hit more goblins. Okay. And then they press attack all and make me figure out the math, which is fair. I would do the exact same thing. I think we got this, though. I'm actually not feeling too bad here. We need one Crashing Drawbridge and Unesh to survive, ideally. Yeah. Again, had they attacked last turn, this would look very different. But because they've been hesitant to do so, they did a third Muxus. Sure, that might as well happen. Just sack a bunch of little tokens to get them out, though. So, all right. Gonna hit a Goblin Matron. And is that a Goblin Chieftain? Oh, 3 Goblin Chieftain. Yeah, okay. That's all right. That's a thing. Maybe I don't have this. Maybe I don't have this. We'll see. We'll see. We're gonna have to do a ton of blocks. So this big, beautiful board state that we have here is gonna be getting roughed up a bit, I'm afraid. But we do still have 19 life. So yes, our opponent is actually sacking. I'm sacking 3 of the tokens to get the other chieftain down. Might be worth it. So whether our opponent knows it or not, they need to end this turn. They need to end it this turn, or we got them on the crackback. It's that simple. So yes, they go for the attack all. Sure, that makes sense. All right, we're gonna get some chump block action going. Casual 28 on Muxus, fair. Yep, Llanowar Elf, you're taking one for the team here. The next biggest threat. Just all these 5/5s. Okay. That's a 5/5. That's a 5/5. That is also a 5/5. Hey, you're a 5/5. Are all the 5/5? Yeah, all 5/5s are taken care of. Let's go ahead and grab those 4/4s now. I'm gonna keep one of the Crashing Drawbridges back. If I can. All right, how much damage do we have coming through? 12, 16, 18. Oh, way too much. No, we don't have a choice. We need to block those. Damn it. Actually, no, we're still dead. That's the most damage we can possibly block. Yeah, I don't think we have it. Even if we survive this turn, we're gonna have to deploy another Unesh. And all of our mana dorks are dead now. Our opponent hit a Cranko and 3 Muxuses, and we still almost, like, we were still in the game till the end. So I'm not mad at that. We got to see what the deck was trying to do. Let's see if we can actually win a game with it next. I'm not mad though. I love seeing jank fire, even if it doesn't work out. We have Unesh, we have the Llanowar Elves, and most importantly, we have 3 lands. I'm gonna go ahead and try this. We don't have a second blue mana source, but by the time we're casting Unesh anyway, that's probably not gonna be an issue. We'll see. Leading off with double Uneshes in hand is a little risky, to be sure. It definitely is. And we're going up against Mono Red Rush. Man, the matchmaker it knew I was recording and it's like, let's just give him the worst matchups possible. That'd be rad. It's all good. It is what it is. We get to clap back a little bit, so I'll take it. But we have the Llanowar Elves. At this point, if we top deck an untapped blue source, we're gonna have a turn 3 Unesh. It's kind of cool, right? Like, could be fun. And if we don't, we can Boseiju the Kumano. You know, kill the 2/2, give them a land they probably don't care about. They're gonna go ahead and crash in with the Ringleader, don't care. I said blue source, blue source! Alright, Alright, So they're gonna flip it. Fortunately, it's an enchantment on the creature side as well. Our number one, sure. Annex, hey, you are an enchantment, my friend. Hello, how do you do? I knew I kept a Boseiju around for something. All right, sick. And yeah, you get some satyrs. I'm not overly jazzed about that, but whatever. Welcome to my face. Hey, Dreamer Cascade, there you are. Let's go. Criosphinx Sovereign hitting the field, doing the thing. I love doing things. Makes me happy. Now we need to get to a Maskwood Nexus. That is what we need now. That's the one key piece we're missing of our combo. Although to be fair, next turn I can even throw, even if we don't. Okay. I didn't want to draw the guy's blessing anyway. Let's go. That worked okay. Perfect. Freaking perfect. Freaking Torbrand, get out of here. All right. If I block here, there's 2 additional, and we block here. 3, 12. No, we're dead. Damn it. Actually, we're just dead no matter what. If we block here, that's the most damage we can do. So that's 3, 6, 9. Oh, 9. Never mind. No, that'd be fine. But then Unesh dies. Oh, we can't really afford to have Unesh die. Wait a minute. My math is not good. 3, 6, 10. But it's not a 2. But it's not a 2. Unesh survives. One of our land elves bites it. I think that's okay. I mean, it's not ideal, but it's mono red. What are you gonna do? All right, we're gonna play out. That is land. This land is my land. This land is your land. I'm gonna go ahead and play out Unesh. Yes, I'm sure. That's gonna enter the battlefield. We're gonna keep the one that isn't summoning sick, and we are gonna get the Factor Fiction trigger. We need to draw into, I mean, actually, even if we get the Maskwood Nexus now, we don't have the mana to cast it. We're 1 shy. That is a significant problem. Yeah, actually, at this point, it doesn't matter. We're dead. Bummer, yo. Oh, never mind. It triggers twice. Let's go. All right, this is neat. I don't know if it's going to make a difference, but it's neat. Yeah, the Maskwood Nexus is in this trigger. Yeah, because there were 2 Uneshes on the field when the one entered. So that's kind of cool. It's neat. I'll take, well, I mean, Nexus is where it's at. That's the whole freaking point of what we're doing here. I can put 1 more land of our elves down. And they still have lethal because at this point, to get any additional blockers, I would need to be tapping our Llanowar elves, which means that they don't get to be blockers. So if they click attack all, we're dead. Right now, yeah, they do. And they can even just ram at ruins. Yeah, no, we're dead. But as you can see, we were very close to executing it there. Again, very close. So far, we have played 3 games as of this recording. I don't know if all of them are going to make the final video, but here we are. We have played 3 games. Every single one of them has been against some kind of hyper aggro rush deck. Maybe that's just where Historic is right now, or maybe the matchmaker really doesn't want this deck to succeed. One way or another, we're not having good luck with the matchmaker, but that's okay. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna get a couple wins. You're able to see the plan come together. You see what we're trying to do here. Let's keep at it. We're gonna get a win one of these days. Doggone it. Even if it freaking kills me, we're gonna do it. This hand actually looks really good. We have Unesh, the Maskwood Nexus. Llanowar elves can help us get there. Get to it a little quicker. Yeah, this is a keeper. Only way that this could be better is if we, I mean, okay, Spirit Unesh isn't bad, I'll take it. But if we can get into like an Ornithopter of Paradise, Crashing Drawbridge, something like that, that can help us, you know, get us some cheap bodies on board and keep things moving, you know, as we go. Could be good. At this point, there's no reason not to put in the breeding pool. We don't have a 3-drop we're gonna hit anyway, so we might as well just throw it down and crash in for 2. Or 1 rather. Haha! First blood. I love Mana Dork First Blood. Makes me so happy. Oh, our opponent missed their land drop. I don't love to see that, if I'm honest. I mean, don't get me wrong. I will take whatever advantage I can if it's going to help me win this thing. But at the end of the day, I want to win close. I want to win good close games. I don't love winning. I don't love winning just because my opponent missed land drops. Burning Pool can enter tapped. Let's stick that Crashing Drawbridge. Get it going. Doink. All right, cool. Knowing that they're running Raise the Alarm, maybe I shouldn't have attacked there, but it'll be fine. History of Benalia. Okay. So this is a Boros, Boros aggro situation. We do have an opportunity to block one of the drawbridge. Cool. Ornithopter is actually great for us. That's absolutely solid. All right. We may be able to combo off this turn. Just watch. Knock on wood. I say wood as though my desk isn't made up of like particle board and metal, but whatever. All right, here we go. Particle board counts, right? It's like made up. It's like ground up wood. You can still knock on that, right? What about the walls? Is paneling made up? Anyway, I don't know. All right, so here we go. They're getting their Fact of Fiction on. We have the Ornithopter of Paradise in our hand already. We want the Crashing Drawbridge. That's where we want to be. The Aeve, we already have one, so we can we'll let the other Aeve go. We take these two. Throw the Ornithopter, get another Fact of Fiction, because we have the Maskwood Nexus Unesh combo live. Let's go! And there's another Crashing Drawbridge, so we are going to be able to keep this value train rolling down the tracks. And we have a Crashing Drawbridge locked and loaded. That feels so good. So good! Alright, we're going to do this. Crashing Drawbridge coming down, keeping the Fact of Fiction coming. Alright, it's working! It's working! We want the Ornithopter, because that's free. Definitely want the Ornithopter. We want to gather as many Ornithopters as we possibly can this turn. Because if we can get 3 Ornithopters down, now that we have multiple Crashing Drawbridges, it's all lands in the Sphinx. Sure, might as well take him. Options never hurt. The opponent knew what we were up to, so they scooped it up. All right, fair enough. We had it. We 100% had it. We were going to be able to keep that value train rolling until we hit a 3rd Ornithopter of Paradise. Crack the tapping drawbridge. All 3 Ornithopters of Paradise now have haste. Can tap for the 3 green we needed to get Aeve online. Storm off. Tap the other Crashing Drawbridge, which we just gave haste to give haste to all the oozes, swinging for the win. Unfortunately, they didn't let us play it out, but we had it. We had it that game. It was awesome. Yes, it can be done. It can be done. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed that deck. It was very weird, very janky. You saw what we were trying to do, though. I feel like it has some potential, but right now, Historic is fast. The Historic metagame is very, very strong, and decks just are capable of producing so much value that trying to pull off some weird infinite, borderline infinite combo like this is tricky, to say the least. But it was a fun experiment. I do not recommend trying this at home as far as your ladder climbing is concerned, but as far as something fun and janky to play with, if you have copies of Aeve or Unesh lying around, it's a good time to take for a spin, maybe in the play queue. But yeah, it's a good time. So thank you so much for checking out the video. I appreciate you. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one.